Here, what we're going to do is we're going to use media queries, which are a way to tell our browser, hey, look, you open this page in a screen that is smaller, count the pixels, and go and change the rule. So you don't need like one version for your website, for your cell phone, one version for your watch, one version for your screen, one version for your desktop screen, one version for your tablet. You just need one pages, and then you adapt some of the rule. It's pretty convenient, and really you cannot like avoid to do this those days. So like if my page is bigger, then the media query come and say, okay, put the menu on the left because I have enough space. I'm horizontal now, I'm not portrait anymore. But if I'm smaller, I shrink the grid and I make less columns. So let's go and see how to do it. Basically, you'll create in your CSS file a new category that says media. Just by saying that, the browser go and say, okay, so now here's another set of rules. So in between the parentheses, you just say, what is your max screen here, max width. So we have that rule in CSS that allow us to say, what are the max width, and after that change. So then this is 480 pixels. So whenever it reaches something that is under 480 pixels, which is 480 pixel, this is my phone here is 480 pixel. The viewport, gotta figure that there's more pixel in a cell phone, of course, than 480. In fact, in this full cell phone here, I think it's an old iPhone 12 or something, there's, I think, twice this amount of pixel, or third this amount of pixel. But if really let's say my font, my title is at 12 pixel, imagine on this size what a 12 pixel will be. It will be too small of a letter. So we go by viewport when we talk about cell phone. And so the Apple cell phone are like, I think, 460 pixels, around that size. And each of the viewport of each of different cell phone company have a different viewport size. It's often based on their first generation of phone. So even though I have 1,500 pixel wide on this phone, if I write 480, it will understand and it will shrink. So let's go ahead, and in that category, I'll just write the rules that I want to change. So okay, so there was the grid, right? I wanted the grid to be smaller, so let's go book. And what is kind of tricky with media queries is that you have to kind of go and figure what it is that you want to change and just put what it is that you want to change. So for instance, in the case of my grid, I want to go and put that here. I want the grid template column to be in 2 column. I want the gap to be 16. I could have my float to none also here because I don't want them to float anymore. I want it to be on top of my layer. I don't want the floating part anymore. So even though I don't want it, I have to go and say I don't want it, otherwise it stays itself. So let's say I want my whatever will change here, like this was my nav. Sorry, this was not my book here. So so when I go in my page here, okay, so if ever I'm going to my adaptive conception, and I try to go in that way so that I emulate a cell phone here. So then it automatically changed in my, whoops, I haven't saved my stuff. Save your stuff here, refresh your browser. So yeah, so now you see my my div at the bottom is now 2 columns. It's a bit wider because I have to do something with my navigation on the top. So I have to create a rule. So there's a lot of stuff to be said about navigation. So let me just give you the whole rule, so you will, and I'll explain afterwards what I mean with that. Okay, so my nav here, what I want is to be one column here like that, and yeah, and of course I want my link to be white. So I'll go and I say in my nav, find the link and put them white, because I wanted a line with that. So let me explain this rule. Okay, so first I want no margin on top, and I want it to be automatic, no margin top on left, on top and bottom, and automatic left right, so it is center basically. Okay, and then margin bottom, I want 50 pixels. I want it to be 100% white. Yes, it's 100% white. I want my box sizing to be a border box. Yeah, no, actually, you know what? I will not use that here. It's not necessarily important for that. I want a little padding, 10 pixel on top and 0 at the middle. We could always increase that. Let's say I go 30 here. This is just my padding push inside my box. So I have padding top, padding bottom, padding left, padding right, so I can play with that here. And then light 9/8, this is like after my my menu, you know, what amount of space do I want in the bottom. Position relative, this is the thing, you know, because my my menu was in floating left, and now it's not floating anymore. It's on the top, so I have to go and change the way that it is positioning. So whenever I said that the position is relative, it pushes the content underneath. So otherwise the content would have come in the back and take some space. Relative take a place as a block, and it's not floating no more. So yes, and now I ask them to display as a flex box. So flexbox, I can't talk much about flexbox, but whatever a flexbox does is to act a little bit like a grid. So it creates columns, but it creates them automatically. It just does not create line after. So you don't need a grid template column if you use flex. Automatically, like there will be one block per cell. Yeah, so it's pretty convenient. And then the space around is because you want the space around every block to be distributed evenly in my flex box. And this too, there's a lot of things to be said. And align center, this is like top and bottom of the flex. And yeah, and I want my flex. In fact, I don't think I need that with the flex wrap. It's not necessarily useful in that circumstance, so never mind about that. And yes, and this is yes, I don't want this. Sorry, a couple of things that I didn't want that. And then my Z-index was putting my menu to be always on top of that, you know. So yeah, so that helped a lot with that. And yes, and the color of my text, if it's not a menu, will be white. So that makes it that it is always there. Then I have to work a little bit with my wrapper too in that example, right? So I want my wrapper to be a little bit far from my top here. I want my wrapper to be not close to the top margin, so I give it some space. I put it in position relative because remember it was floating, right? So I want it to be relative. I gave it 90% because I want my wrapper to occupy 90% of the space of my page, and I want it to be centered. So whenever you said 0 auto, it means margin left automatic, margin right automatic, margin bottom 0, margin top 0. So it helped. Yes, let me remove the margin bottom here. It's not useful because it's already covered in that. So yes, here, yes. Okay. So no, it was useful. I'm gonna leave it here. Yes. Okay. So that's nice. And then I said floating none because I don't want my wrapper to float. This is the thing. Maybe I should say that to my nav too. I think it's gonna be good if I said that to my navigation. Do not float. Yes, because it's not floating anymore. The navigation, it is in position relative. You gotta make sure of those things. And yeah, and so it's almost done. Because what about my footer? Where is my footer? Here in the page. Let's see. What about my footer? Yeah, it's okay. I could always have my fig caption to be smaller here, so I can always have this text. So go in the div that's named book, find the fig caption and make them smaller. So that will make my fig caption smaller under my books, because of course there's less space. And you know, this is how it goes. You could always like continue to customize your mobile layout. I don't know if I would like my text to be justified. I just have to find like where it is. Okay, my text is in main, so I can create a main tag and then said I don't know, text align and justify. Whatever I put in my media query will be applied only to the media query whenever I go out. Here it goes. Yeah, that's it. Now everything become like my text is not justified anymore. It's left. I have 3 columns, and this is how you can. Let me show you the code again at last. So this is kind of good, I think, and you can always add more, of course, to that. But it gives you a good example of what it is to create responsive layout. And we could have more. You could have another bracket. You could go like media max width 480 up until 720 for tablet, but we tablets is a very small part of the market, so it's not necessarily useful now. But you could create another one for watches. So, but it's the same idea. You have all of those media queries, and your first curly bracket and your last curly bracket of your media query, make sure that it only applies to those rules here. Whatever is outside the media query will be applied to your normal layout. So I think this is it for this basic tutorial on HTML, CSS, and responsive layout. I know I didn't have time to cover the hover thing, but I will create. I'll do another video with more advanced CSS animation and hover and covering all that. I think that for now you have enough with that in those tutorials. Don't want to make hour-long tutorial neither. So the next one will be on all of those interaction and rollovers and animation transition. We'll cover that in the next one.